Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? This is a Sunday edition. Hopefully everybody's had a great week and a great weekend. Mr. James Thornton, let me unmute your mic, my friend. There you go. Got you unmuted. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Dave. How are you, Bob?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. We got some exciting news earlier today, which we'll go into that here in just a minute. But I'm going to give a rundown. So last week or this week that just passed, the wife and I had an opportunity to go to Houston, Texas. While in Houston, we got to meet 3/4 of the Triple Threat Vets podcast. So we got to meet Matt and Becky Johnson. We stayed at their house. We got to meet Mr. Ty Cobb, and we also got to meet Scott Blake, DJ Royalty, in person. And let me tell you, man, that was amazing. Matt and Becky were super hospitable. I had to sound that one out just a little bit. You know, my redneck was coming out on me. But man, we got to go to the Jelly Roll concert. First, we went to the Houston Rodeo on Thursday. And then right after the rodeo was done, they wheeled the stage in. Jelly Roll did a little bit of a concert there. And the cool thing about that is the drummer, Cody Ash, is actually from Bullitt County, Kentucky. He went to Bullitt East High School, where my kids go to school. And we actually were on the flight going to Houston. He was on the flight with us. So my wife was being a little bit of a fangirl there for a little bit. But so, you know, we talked to him. I talked to him about the Distorted Static podcast that I produce and help produce. He said that Cody said he would love to come on and be a guest and talk about his musical journey and stuff like that. So that's super, super cool. I'm excited about that and the possibility of, you know, that. And then right after the Jelly Roll concert, I got to go see my man Bubba Wesley, who we're bringing to Kentucky. Should have had all this. I should have had all this off, but I didn't even think about it. So yeah, we got to see my buddy Bubba Wesley, and if you notice, the hat is signed. I had his whole band signed, and then I had Bubba sign here at the bottom, and then we had all access to Mr. Bubba Wesley. I don't know if you guys can read that or not, but we had all access to Bubba, which was super cool because we're trying to get into Kentucky for a couple of our events that we got coming up. So July 25th through the 30th, we got the Vietnam Traveling Wall with the Cost of Freedom tribute, which is super cool. And then November 9th, we have our third annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert, which we're trying to get Bubba Wesley to be the headliner at that event. So We're also looking for corporate sponsors and sponsors in general. If you want to sponsor, uh, you know, either one of the events, you can reach out to James or myself. Now, James, let's talk about the Vietnam traveling wall. The good news that we got last night and then today.
Um, yeah, so Bullitt County, where Shepherdsville and Mount Washington located, of course, Bullitt County has two young men that were killed during the Vietnam War. Um, so I have frantically been trying to find family members of these two individuals so we can honor them during a small ceremony while the wall is in town. And the other night, the great niece of the young man from Shepherdsville called me with her mom, so his niece and great niece. And then after speaking with them, then I got a message from his sister. So I was able to directly talk with uh, that young man's family and invite them out for the ceremony. And then today, Mr. Willis right there got a hold of the family from
Mount
was able to reach
Washington.
out to the family from Mount Washington. So it was it's been a pretty good couple days.
Yeah, it has been a pretty cool days, and we talked with the niece. We talked with the niece. There's 5 nieces of Mr. Brown, Staff Sergeant Brown. I'm gonna use his rank because he definitely earned it. Staff Sergeant Brown from here from Mount Washington, and talked to her. We talked to her for what 20-30 minutes, and
At least.
she's like, yeah, and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go talk. I got to talk to mom." What's up, Michael Whitlatch? How are you, sir? How's Miss
Yeah,
Susan
brother.
and your battle buddy? How are they doing? But yeah, so we talked to her for at least 20-30 minutes, and she was very at first she was skeptical at first because she didn't know what it was about. And then when we told her that we want to honor the family members of the 2 from Bullitt County that paid the ultimate sacrifice, um, uh, she was like, "Yeah, we're interested," but she said she also needs to talk to mom because mom, his sister, her mom, she's up in age and she doesn't get around very. She's got good health, but she don't get around very. She's not very mobile. Let's put it that way. Um,
Right.
so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be super cool, and we're gonna do a ceremony to honor both families. I think that's gonna be super cool, and excited about that. But yeah, so man, I tell you, it's been a whirlwind since the beginning of January for this year already, and everything that is just coming together, man. I just can't say that um, it don't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon, which is a good thing,
Absolutely.
especially in the line of work that I do with podcasting and seeing these events and stuff like that. And me, I'm always scouring the internet and looking for veterans, whether it be a veteran service organization or a veteran entrepreneur or veteran business owner, or like today we got Stephen Russell, who is an Army veteran, uh, and he's also an author. He's wrote 2 books. He's got a book getting ready to come out, and then he wrote Tales of Nihilism, which is a comic book style, uh, which we'll get into that here in a minute, but it's comic book style about superheroes and stuff like that. So we'll get into that in a minute. So without further ado, let's bring up Mr. Stephen Russell. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Stephen. How are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Doing all right.
Man,
going
it's
on?
going good. It's going good. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, starting back. I guess you're starting back with who you are, where you're from, then your military service, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Steven. I was born in Dallas. So, my dad always told me, he said, son, it's not that you have to root for the Cowboys, you get to. And so, yeah, I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan. And yeah, we bounced around a little bit, even though we weren't a military family. I grew up mostly in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast in Gaucher, that Biloxi, Pascagoula area.
Okay.
And I went to high school, we moved up to Houston, and that's where I joined the Army in 2004. Everybody had that kind of sense at that time, with the Iraq War kicking off and 9/11 and everything. It was just kind of this whirlwind that everybody got caught up in. So I joined there, went to Korea, and then deployed to Iraq out of Fort Hood with the 1st Cav. We deployed to Baqubah. I was a 11 Bravo, infantry.
Nice.
And we did one of those nice long, almost year and a half long deployments out there, and it was pretty intense. Got out in 2008, bounced around a lot, going different college programs, different jobs, things like that, and then decided to re-up and go active duty again in 2012. Went in with the 18 X-ray program because that's the only way they accepted prior service at the time. Did my 19 days, didn't get selected, 19-day non-select, and then moved on to Italy. And then from there, I exited in 2017 out of Fort Bliss.
Okay.
So that's I guess the Army resume there. But as far as my creativeness, in the books, I'm a completely 100% self-taught. Didn't do any college courses, didn't go to art school, any of that. Just picked up a pencil and pen from a young age and doodled and drew. And prior to joining the military, I was always the theater art choir kid, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of like a piece of me that I let go once I joined the military. 'Cause you got the mission in front of you, and you got a different culture, and you have to indoctrinate yourself and assimilate to what's going on. But it was once I got out and I was kind of looking for direction, and I was kind of looking for some sort of way to release all this. That's when I got back into writing and drawing and moving into that realm.
So yeah, so you did your stint in the military. Now you said you've been creative your whole life, pretty much. Now you started with your Tales of Nihilism. The first one was the Ballad of Philip Kirshner, correct?
Yeah, that's our main series on the. If you want to think of Tales of Nihilism as a studio, that would be our main premiere series that
Okay.
we post up. And we have to date, we've got 6 issues under that series.
Nice, nice. Now you do all of the illustration and everything yourself, correct?
I do on the comic side. I work with a script writer, so I'll do the story concept, and then I'm doing all the art, and then he'll come in and refine my story concept, give me a nice, script to work off of, and then he'll do the lettering and stuff. So that's a
Okay.
good partnership that I've got going on there.
No, that's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna shout out Rich LaMonica. He's one of the hosts of, or he's one of the hosts of the Misfit Nation. So he's out there in chat right now. He's says he's in
What's up, Rich?
Louisiana. So he's normally in Clarksville, Tennessee, but he travels with his job. So he's a contractor. He did his 20 in the military, 20 plus, and he didn't get done with the military. So now he's a contractor training the younger generation. So welcome to the show, Rich. Thanks for jumping on, brother. So let's go back. So how did you get to the point where your comic ideal came to fruition and you got it published and stuff like that? How did that come about?
Yeah, that was quite a bit of a process there, because I even in the military, I'd be kind of like the guy doodling while we're doing op orders and stuff like that, and really, it was mostly just playing around. But once I got out, and I just kind of needed something to center myself and needed something to focus, all this energy and everything towards. That's where I started reconnecting with my past, and I was like going around doing traditional art. I'm rewatching old Bob Ross videos and painting and stuff like that. And through all of this, I decided that it was like, okay, I want to use my art to take these experiences and these stories that I have, and I want to use that to tell these stories. And that was kind of like the brainchild, was like coming around with this. I don't want to just do another superhero or another, like a Batman or a Spider-Man or even an anime type thing. I was like, I really want this to resonate with people. And so that's where I kind of like clicked in my head. I was like, okay, well, what if I take just a normal guy and I put him in these worlds with superheroes and show just how awful it would be?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty fascinating, when because everybody's done superheroes, everybody's done villains, but you come at it from a different aspect where you got a normal guy that you're following that actually happens to live in a world with superheroes, and villains, and I think it's pretty neat on how you went about it. Now, let's do a little bit of backpedaling. So tell everybody what Tales of Nihilism is, so people understand that concept of what it is.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, Tales of Nihilism is more of like I guess, a studio. So we offer the main series with the Ballad of Philip Kirshner. We do short stories that they can tie into the main series or just be one-offs, and then we do comic strips once every 3 months, just to keep something going and throw stuff out. But the main idea is to have like a philosophical and more artistic, storytelling that goes up there. The story is going to drive the art. The story is going to drive what's going on there. And I really wanted to focus on that idea of taking a common person and everyday NPC guy and like what that world is like.
Nice, nice. No, I love it. So it's more nihilism. I'm trying to think of the proper way to describe what nihilism means. Um,
Yeah, the philosophy of like meaningless, right? So
right,
you're rejecting all the religion, you're rejecting all the other different types of philosophies that's come up, and basically you have to ascribe your own meaning to the world, right?
right.
So it's you're the arbiter of the truth that you see around yourself, and that's kind of like the headspace that I'm in when I'm creating these stories. Is there's no set, good guys, bad guys. There's no, moral justice that's going on in these worlds. It's just how do these worlds exist and how do the people interact with them?
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Now, you got a new book coming up. It's called Troublemakers: The Real Dog Pony Show of the Iraqi War. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because I know we talked about it offline. Troublemakers was the name of your platoon, if I remember correctly, or was it, or
Yeah.
your company? I can't remember if it's a platoon or company, but uh, tell us a little bit about that because um, sometimes it's hard to talk and write about things that you saw while you were over in a wartime situation. Like
Yeah.
I know me, for me, I, I've been out since 2004, and it's still hard for me to talk about some of the things that I seen. Like I could probably write a book about the shit that I saw in Haiti, but for me, for the longest time, it was really hard to talk about it. And now you've been out and you started with the comic book strips and stuff like that, and then now you're moving into writing a book. What was that process like? And tell us a little bit about that book.
Yeah. So, you hit the nail on the head. I call it Troublemakers because that was the name of our platoon. And we were called Troublemakers because everyone in the platoon had at least one field grade Article 15. So that can
Nice.
kind of tell you about the group of gentlemen that I'm telling this story about. Um, and I myself, I had two under my belt by the time we deployed. So you know,
Nice.
it's just the way it was, right? And it's it's one of those where it's like the greatest story never told kind of thing. There's a lot of stories surrounding Iraq, and there's a lot of culture that existed around of Iraq that America, our society hasn't, come to terms with. We haven't reflected on that. And so, here we are, 20 years later, and you're seeing some of the same things occur, some of the same, uh, you know, history like replay itself. And so I think it's
Right.
a good time to, start putting these stories out from there, and not just from, we've all heard the the hero stories, the Navy SEAL teams, the guy who's, Captain America and this and that. And that really wasn't my experience. And from talking to other people, who've been in and served and been on even multiple deployments, that's not their experience.
Right.
We're just like regular people who were caught up in a total shitstorm in a whirlwind, and you had to survive through it. You had to make it out. And, part of that is, people deal with it in different ways. I dealt with it by waking up every morning and pulling out my little camo thing and doing my shave, and I'm telling myself in that little tiny square mirror, like, today's the day you're gonna die. So
Mm.
once you like accept that, you can do anything, right? The whole
Yeah.
world's available to you, and it's one of those as well. There's so many people, like you're saying, that have these stories and they can't tell these stories, or they have some block, or something there. And I feel, being a person who's gone through all of that, losing 12 brothers during that deployment, getting shot myself, that if I have the extrovertedness still, I should be the person to like tell our story,
Yeah.
because they deserve it.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that, these people that, the Navy SEALs and the Army Rangers and the Marine Corps Force Recon, the Special Ops guys, they're the ones that a lot of times get the praise, where the people that are the backbone, the infantry guys, the comm guys, the stuff that are behind the scenes, don't get credit for. And if it wasn't for the comm guys, if it wasn't for the infantry guys, if it wasn't for Motor T,
Mhm.
then the Navy SEALs, the Rangers, the Delta, the MARSOC, the Raiders, they wouldn't be able to accomplish half the shit that they do accomplish. Look, all right, some prime example. James Thornton up here was with 10th Mountain during Operation Gothic Serpent, which was Black Hawk Down, the movie they made. In that movie, the 10th Mountain, there was very few references to 10th Mountain, the QRF that came
Yeah,
in and saved the asses of the Rangers and the pilots. If it wasn't for 10th Mountain, um, those guys wouldn't be able to tell their stories. Those Rangers and pilots wouldn't be able to tell their stories that they are doing. So,
absolutely.
so that's kind of weird. Like, your story comes into play. The Troublemakers. You're telling the stories that don't get told. And sometimes, like I said earlier, it's hard to tell those stories because the shit that we seen, we block it. A lot of times we block it out.
Yeah. And there's also the factor of, like, you don't want to seem like a braggart. You don't want to seem, in that area. I took great pains in my forward, saying straight out the gate, like, I'm not a hero. I'm not trying to like beat my own drum. I'm not trying to, fluff myself up here. This is a story, about me and my brothers and what we went through, and
Yeah.
this entire, you know, experience. And there's so many people that, even today, even if they have family members that deployed, they just don't understand what went on over there, and what kind of insanity everyone went through. You'll
Yeah.
tell people like, yeah, the Iraq was having a civil war during the time, and people were like, what are you talking about? and
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
on the flip side, there's a whole section of my life where I missed out on American society and culture, where Facebook wasn't a thing, the internet wasn't a thing, and you come back to a completely different world, and now you've
Yeah.
got to like assimilate into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like me. So I was in pre-smartphone. That's when I served. So we didn't have smartphones to take videos and stuff like that. Literally, I remember when I was in Haiti, I rented a camcorder, one of those that set up on your shoulder, and we were doing QRF in Haiti, and I'd be in the turret, and we'd have the 50 cal mounted, but I'd also have the camera up on my shoulder, and we were taking video on the VHS tapes, and
Yeah.
I pulled one out not too long ago, and my kid's like, "What's that, bro?" I'm like, that's what we had to record on back in the day, you know? And
Yeah.
so, and I like the fact that you said in your forward of your book that you got coming out, that you're not doing it. You're not doing it because you want to toot your own horn, but you want to tell the story of your brothers that lost their life, that paid the ultimate price, and the other ones and your other brothers that survived as well. You want to tell the story of what happened and what you saw from. I'm assuming it's a first person perspective. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So now, did you interview some of your teammates, your brothers? Did you interview them and have them put in the book as well, or is it just basically strictly first person?
It's strictly first person, but over the years, I've definitely reconnected with old battle buddies, and we had these discussions and talked about these things. And I at one point I tried to reach out to as many people as possible and try to clarify incidents or get some more historical background. And it was one of the things that was holding me back from writing the book. I was like, I don't want to misrepresent something. I don't want to get something wrong. But
Right.
I was talking to my old team leader, and he just told me, he's like, man, just tell the story, just do it. He's like, it needs to be told, and we're all messed up in some way or another. As long as you just do the best you can with what you got, you know it's more important to get it out there. And I was like, okay. And I guess one of the things I had that helped me the most was when I got done with the deployment. I sat there over that first long weekend that they gave us, and I tried to write down everything I could remember from the deployment in
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 days. And I was just sitting there writing. No, nothing, formal, but I was just trying to get as many things that I could, and that helped me through the 15 years during the process of having something that I could go back and look at and say, oh, okay, that at least this is my perspective,
Yeah.
at this time. Whether what I saw was right or wrong, or whether the incident was recalled in this way or that way, at least this was my perspective.
Yeah. I mean, that's like me. So, like I said, I was in from 97 to 01. I got out right before 9/11 happened. Then got recalled back in, and I was in until 2004, I believe, is when I got out. Like early 2004, and I blocked out a lot of shit from my military experience.
Hmm.
And talking with doing this podcast and talking to with reconnecting with some of my teammates and the junior Marines that were underneath of me, it's opened up some memories. And
Yeah.
I'm remembering some stuff that happened. And but also, when I was in Greece, we did in 2000 we did a NATO exercise with a bunch of different NATO countries, and we were in Greece, and I fell out of the back of a Humvee. My driver, uh, I was on the back of a troop transport, and I was on one side, another guy was on the other side. We had our troop strap up, we had the thing over the back, and he decided he was going to hit a creek willy nilly, and me and the other guy, we bounced out over top of the troop strap,
Yeah.
and I landed into a creek, and I was knocked out for a good 2 minutes, uh, and I don't remember,
Yeah.
like I couldn't tell you who was sitting across from me, and I couldn't tell you who else was in the Humvee, but I could tell you who was driving.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out who's in there, and the reason I'm kind of trying to do that is because I need a buddy letter for the VA,
Mhm.
for undiagnosed TBI that happened when I was in the military, because literally I hit rocks in the creek and I was knocked out for 2 to 3 minutes. It's just like,
Yeah.
and I don't remember some stuff, and it's just like, bro, how do I get this buddy letter? And I mean, I know my mom can write a letter and say, hey, he wasn't this way before, but
Hmm.
it also helps that somebody who was
Somebody who's
there that
there. Yeah.
witnessed, yeah, that witnessed it. And of course, I can't. The driver, I can't call him because unfortunately he passed away a few years ago, so I can't reach out to him. And uh, so yeah, and trying to remember who else was in the back of the Humvee is just, bro. So I kind of wish I was smart enough to write some stuff down, after I got out, and like I said, I'm slowly remembering stuff.
Hmm.
And it's crazy, man. And so this book,
I feel you. You know, being airborne, I have my share of TBIs and concussions, and to me that was a lot worse than any of the battlefield wounds that I got inflicted. Because, like you said, the whole memory thing. Once you lose your memory, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just become a different person, and now it's
yeah,
like trying to reconnect with all that and figure things
yeah,
out. Like, oh man,
yeah. So a lot of people don't understand when you're in the military and you get deployed. So say you get deployed to friggin' Kuwait or Haiti or somewhere like that where there's conflict going on, because a lot of people don't realize that you and I, or James, we left as young men, and when we came back, we're a totally different person than when we left. A lot of people, a lot of civilians don't understand that concept, that the shit that we see puts us in a different headspace. Uh,
yeah,
and it's hard to explain that sometimes. And with you and you doing your book, you can actually kind of give people a glimpse into what you went through and what your unit went through, to help people better understand you and understand your unit, basically,
yeah,
is what I'm getting at. So
yeah. And it's like I'm hoping, a second and third order effect of that too is that, people in the American society and culture can look at this and also have like a reckoning and an understanding of like what happened and what we did as well. What was necessary to make Iraq happen? What was necessary to continue it and continue Afghanistan for as long as we did? And then look at things that are happening now and see those similarities and see things, and maybe start, holding people accountable for their actions. At least people, in positions of authority.
yeah, I agree with you there. And um, sometimes things get swept under the rug. A lot, well, not sometimes, a lot of times in the military, shit gets swept underneath the rug. Had to rephrase there, because I'm one of the lucky ones. So I got one NJP, non-judicial punishment, when I was in the military. That was very early on in my career. We were in Bridgeport, California, up at the we were in the summit. We were getting ready to do night land nav, and my company commander had the platoon sergeants and he had the platoon commanders in a meeting. So we were told to fall out in formation on a road. It was still daylight outside. It was dusk because we were going to be doing nightland nav. And during his little meeting, he's like, "Well, we're in a semi-tactical environment. Make sure your guys are not smoking." So, we were told to fall out in formation. That's all we were told. We wasn't told anything else. And there was like 7 of us. We were standing in a group and we were just smoking and joking because we didn't know what was going on. We were, here I am. I think at the time I was a PFC. And so he gets done with his meeting. He comes up on the road and he goes, why are you guys smoking? We snap to attention. Sir, we're not doing anything but standing here. Well, he wrote all 6 of us up for disobeying a superior commissioned officer,
Oh God.
because yeah, and here I am. I'm a PFC. I didn't know any better. I was like, what the hell? So I got an NJP for that, and that was the first time and last time that I got an NJP while I was in the military, and um, it just left a bad taste in my mouth,
Absolutely.
because here I am, fresh in the Marine Corps, and I get an NJP for smoking a cigarette. I mean, literally smoking a cigarette is what I got NJP for, in a semi-tactical environment.
Yeah.
How either you're tactical or you're not tactical. So,
That's what I was
it,
going to
it,
say. How do you do that?
Yeah.
dude, I don't know, but I wish I still had the NJP paper, because
Oh
I'd show
man.
you that it said semi-tactical environment. That's how it was worded,
That's
semi-tactical
like,
environment.
give me a Whopper without the meat.
Yeah,
It's somebody trying to flex their muscle and all that kind of stuff, and I saw a lot of that in First Cav. There's this kind of like culture to the entire division. Maybe it's because the history of the division going back so far and all this other kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
there's this, high authority but low accountability,
Yeah.
culture, and it was especially prevalent during that time. And like he's saying, power trip, yeah. And I mean, my first Article 15 was undeserved. My second one was totally deserved. I, got every bit that I needed. But my first one was in Korea, and they tell you when you go into Korea in the brief when you first land in. They're like, all right, so who here is an E5, sergeant? And they all raise their hand. And they're like, who wants to leave Korea in E6? Of course, they all raise their hand. And they say, all right, I'm going to tell you the trick. The fastest way to leave Korea in E6 is to come here E7.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, I mean, you're really lucky if you leave Korea without an Article 15. And mine was a failure report. I went out on a weekend and they had a platoon recall, and I wasn't there for the recall, and I was just putzing around. Didn't have a battle buddy. I was, going to a freaking electronics store or something like that, and
Oh, man.
came out. Yep, saw my whole platoon out in front pushing, and I was like, that's it.
Oh, yep, you're screwed. Yep, yep. That happens quite frequently in the military. So, they do, like when we were in Okinawa, we would get on taxis or the little shuttle and take us up to Kadena Air Force Base, which was right outside of Gate 2 Street. And a lot of guys, will be gone, and all of a sudden you hear company formation, and then these guys get written up, and it's like, bro,
Yeah,
here we are on Libo, and you called an emergency,
yeah.
formation,
And it's not like you got a cell phone that you can just call a guy and be like, hey man,
right,
come on back.
right.
You got to
So
physically go out and find people.
yeah. Needless to say, some of those guys didn't come back to midnight, and they got railed. Let's just put it that way, because of
Yeah.
course, we were on Liberty, which I
Mhm.
never really understood. If you called Libo, like if we were in formation, company commander goes, "You guys are on Libo, dismissed." Boom, you go, you do your own thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
The
it's
the
like,
way
how
they
could
the way they got me was they said if you go outside the city that the base was at, you're outside the pass limit. So even though we were on a long weekend, and like you said, I thought, oh, we're good, head on out. And I've been in Korea over, the time period, so I don't need a battle buddy going out with me and all that kind of
right?
stuff. So it was like, yeah, I'm good. But they were like, once they asked, where were you? Oh, I was, in Weijambu. Oh, that's outside the pass limit. So, we're gonna pull you up, failure to report on that. And
Mhm.
it did. It put a, like you said, it put a bad taste in my mouth. I kind of became a little bit of a shitbag there for a while. It was just, being wild and a 19-year-old kid. And
Yeah.
we ended up hanging out in Fort Hood, and we were up on I-35 shooting airsoft rifles at cars and stuff like that while driving. And we ended up pegging some kid in his Beamer, and they pulled over, got the cops, arrested us, and of course we were on the blotter report the next day.
Oh,
And
man.
yeah, and so I served my 45 and all that in Iraq during flaming shit, and that
Ooh.
kind of like that taught me like that
So
learned me good.
you were the one, okay.
Yeah.
So we were in South Korea. We were at Pohang, or Pohong, however you want to pronounce it, Pohang. Um, and our hooch, we had one of those Quonset style
Kwanzaa
hooch,
huts, yeah.
yeah, that was real long, and we had just cots in there. That's all we had, and we were out playing around with MRE bombs. And for people who don't know what that is you take the old MRE heaters, crush it up, you put it in a bottle, throw a little bit of water and Tabasco in there, put the lid on it, and throw it. And it goes boom.
Yeah.
So me and another guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but I just recently reconnected with him on Facebook. But we were there, and we made two big ones, with the big 2-liter bottles, and
Yeah.
I mean, we filled it up. I mean, we probably had about 3 inches of MRE heater in there. We threw a little bit of water and a little bit of Tabasco. Well, there was rice paddies on the other side of the fence, and this was a big 8-foot fence with like barbed wire, concertina wire on top, and we filled it up, sealed it up, tossed it as far as we could toss it, and all of a sudden it goes boom. I mean, it makes a hell of a boom because we were down in that little valley and it echoed like a son of a. Well, needless to say, there were some people working in that rice paddy that
Oh
did
shit.
not like the fact that we did that. And of
Oh
course,
yeah.
we didn't know they were in there working. Of course, we didn't look either. And so they went to the front gate, got the base general, and um, he found out who it was because somebody ratted us out. Of course, you always got those rats out there, and we never did figure out who
Yeah.
it was, but ratted us out. Of course, I'm kind of glad they did because then the rest of the company and didn't have to worry about being in trouble. So they
Yeah.
ratted us out and they pulled us into the office or his office and uh, he's like, well, you guys almost caused an international incident. I should give you an article 15 and you should lose rank. And luckily we didn't. And I learned my lesson not to throw it over the wire again. uh, and they're like, well, you can't make any more MRE bombs, so we didn't. But I always like taking a a soda pop can, cutting it in half, putting a little bit of crushed up MRE heater in there, Tabasco, a little
Mm,
bit of water, and then put it in like when the guys were sleeping in like our mount training facility while
yeah.
they were sleeping. Slide it in that little enclosed room, and it was like a CS chamber. It come
Yeah.
out snotting and shit. That was always fun.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of stories like that. We as Marines, we did it right some days, and some days we did it wrong. But
Yeah. You,
I probably
you always identify the squad leader has the sim grenades and stuff.
yes. No, I loved it. I had a blast while I was in, and I would do it again. My nephew, I don't know if my aunt's still in here right now, but he's deployed right now for OPSEC purposes. I won't say where
Mm,
he's deployed to, but he reached out recently on Facebook and through family members that his unit where they were stationed at didn't have any like recreational gear, like baseballs or softballs or anything to do sports with. And l- they luckily enough people volunteered to send stuff over to his unit so they could have stuff there on base. So I
oh
thought it
heck
was
yeah.
pretty cool. And so let's get back because I know we got on a little bit of a downward spiral there, but let's talk about the book a little bit more that you got coming up. So it's a first person book. I'm going to bring up the website here so people can actually see where to go. Um, so this is the website here: Troublemakers, the greatest dog and pony show in Iraq, by
Mhm.
Stephen Russell. I like the artwork on the front here. Did you do the artwork?
Yeah, yeah. So I've done artwork on the front and the back, and then there's 25 chapters in there, and I did chapter artwork for each one.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with the artwork for the cover here.
Yeah. So we going back and forth with my publisher. We originally wanted to name the book what our combat outpost was called in Iraq, which was Bone Disneyland. But you don't want all that smoke from Disney, so we we
Right,
decided to
right.
go with the name Troublemakers, and everything on that cover is a part of the story. That's things that occurred, during the book. And I've got like the chickens up there. There's a rooster in the back that used to fight us all the time and come out. And then
Nice.
you got the donkey cart with the IEDs in the back, and a predator drone up there up top. Just all kinds of everything is a part of that story. So I just wanted to have like this little thing that you could follow and kind of make it look like a carnival. We're talking about the dog and pony show. Everybody in the military knows that phrase and knows
What
what that
those are, yeah.
means. Yeah. And so I decided to go with kind of like a circus look to it. Like it looks like a circus poster. And there's me and my buddy Joe Davis, and we're marching down the street there in Baqubah. Behind us, that's the combat outpost that we had to live in.
Okay. So I'm going to read this. It says Stephen Russell presents a brutally honest account of his experience as an infantry soldier during his deployment in Iraq. Fueled by a sense of duty and desire for personal redemption, Russell shares the untold stories of his band of brothers, dispelling the notion of heroism and challenging the societal constructs that surround it. With brutal honesty and a refusal to conform to conventional narratives, this memoir offers an intimate portrayal of the humanity behind the war, exposing the complex emotions, moral dilemmas, and sacrifices faced by soldiers on the front line. It presents a stark contrast between the harshness of combat and the illusion of patriotism, urging readers to confront the uncomfortable truths that lie beneath the surface of military culture. Through vivid description, uh, poignant reflections, and unfiltered personal accounts, Troublemaker serves as a poignant reminder of the fragile nature of humanity, a tribute to unsung heroes, and a powerful critique of the societal systems that they serve. He ends with a call to action for American culture and society to understand our complicity and responsibilities in the Iraqi war and how this has shaped our current lives and events. So you can go to his website here, Blue Books, blue blueearbooks.com, and look up Troublemakers. You can pre-purchase for $19.99 per copy plus $3.95 US shipping, or you can use that QR code right here that's on the screen. So, uh,
Yeah.
right
And
here. So,
once it officially drops at the end of this month, you'll be able to order it off of Amazon.
nice,
That's
nice.
cool.
Now, when you get your author copies, I know you're going to sign me one. You're going to mail it to me so I can put it back
Heck yeah.
here on the wall of books, of veteran books that I have. So I got Michelle Black, who is a Gold Star widow. Her husband, Mr. I want to say he was staff sergeant too. Uh, he uh, he died. He died in Iraq, and the Taliban posted a video of him, being beheaded on screen.
Yeah.
And for her kids to see that, and it's, oh my God, let me tell you. And her book is called Sacrifice, is what her book is called. I
Yeah.
got her coming up for two as an interview as well, and it's just, man, I tell you, it's one of those things that when you write a book and you have uh, personal feelings into that book. Kind of like when you wrote your book, you wanted to tell the story of your band of brothers and your story, the personal reflections that are in there, and I'm excited to read it. So, and I don't read books very often, but I've read Borderline, which is Vincent Vargas. He was military, then he went to work for the Border Patrol. That book's pretty good. Um, Instead of Sheep, which was Matthias Carter, he wrote a book explaining PTS to his young son because
Mm.
they went to a concert, and Matthias actually had to leave the concert and sit out in the middle because of the light show and the pyrotechnics that was going off and stuff. It messed with him, and his son didn't really understand what was going on. So he wrote a book. It's from, a soldier's way of dumbing it down for his kid, basically, so his kid could understand what was going on. And then I got two books by Chad Robelex, who is the founder of Mighty Oaks Warrior, which is a faith-based program. I got his two books there. One is the An Unfair Advantage. So yeah, definitely put your book up here with these guys, and I actually will have to get a bigger shelf because I want
Yeah.
to be able to display them all pretty good. So
Yeah. And for people who aren't avid readers, that this isn't really something that's harder on reading. I tried to keep this more like a campfire type tale,
okay,
like it's being told,
awesome.
amongst a smaller group, and it's more conversational than it is, literarily, complex and stuff like that. But
No, I like that.
it's definitely one of those things because I don't know a lot of people that in their platoon alone they lost 12 people within 6 months, and so there's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows, and you know, it kind of has that that idea behind it where, you know, you're going through and I'm telling stories about us living day-to-day life out there, and what it was like, and how it is where, you know, you get to the point after guy number 6, 7, 8 dies, then, you know, now it's starting to just become, well, that's an extra, you know, hour now that I got to do on tower guard. Shit, you know, what's going on?
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah,
it's
because it's
that kind of human story behind it that I don't think you really see in war stories, you know.
yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand is if you're in a wartime situation, um, you don't get a replacement. If your brother in the fighting hole beside you or to your left or right winds up dying, you have to pick up that slack.
Yeah.
That you don't get a replacement.
Yeah.
Not right away. Anyway, I mean it's
Yeah,
sometimes
and
it could be
it's more than
months.
just it's more than just patrols. It's, you know, everything. Now you have
Yeah,
to do extra details, extra duties, and like you said, adding extra hours on your nighttime guard shift, and now everyone's more tired, more broken down,
yeah,
and yeah, I mean, you're going through all of this and you're living it and having that experience behind it, and it's not just this, you know, what they show on what was it, like Lone Survivor and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. And you know, go ahead, James.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but I just realized something. I'm the only son of a bitch sitting here that didn't get an Article 15 or get in trouble.
It's
Well, you know
okay. We
what?
won't fault you for it.
Yeah, we won't fault you for that. It just means you didn't really serve.
Either that, or it's like my first squad leader always told me. He said, you know, if you aren't cheating, you aren't trying. If you get caught cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Oh,
Some
Right,
people
right.
just cheat better, you know.
We cheated. We did a lot of shit. We were just good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all must have been really good if you didn't get caught.
Our battalion got kicked out of Fort Sherman, Panama training exercise.
Woo.
We got
Hey,
told to get on the damn airplanes and get the hell back out of Panama.
so Michael says he's in the same class with you, James, so he didn't
That's right.
get caught either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught.
Yeah.
You guys are rookies.
Well,
Yeah.
I was a rookie. Trust me, I was a rookie, and like I said, that was the first one I got and the last one I got for smoking a cigarette.
Look at this.
Now,
Look at the time frames. Look when I went through when y'all did. They already knew what to look for when you knuckleheads come along.
Yeah. You
Because
paved the
it's what we
road.
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
And,
like,
and
man, we can't let that shit go on no more.
so our captain, his last name was Schweitzer, which was a German name. So
Mm.
we after we got our NJP for smoking a cigarette, his nickname was Adolf Schweitzer. Yeah, we
Yeah.
called him Adolf all the time. And when we were in Pohang, we were supposed to be doing a joint operation with the Korean ROK Marines, the ROK Marines.
Mhm.
And so we go out to the field. We meet up with the ROK Marines. A monsoon comes in. We're supposed to be in the field for 11 days. 11 days.
Oh,
A
yeah.
monsoon comes in. It rained every day. Like it never stopped raining for 11 days straight.
That
It
forced stone
rained.
rain.
And
Yeah.
the ROK Marines left that night. Like in the middle of the night, it started raining. They pulled up and went back to their base. They're like, fuck this, we're out. So they go back to their base. Our company commander decides, well, we're going to stay out here and train in this rain. So we're out here in this rain for 11 fucking days. All of our gear soaking wet. I mean, there was no way to keep it dry. I mean, we were just
Yeah.
soaking wet. And our company commander, our company first sergeant, our company guide, and a few other personnel was able to go back to the base, dry off, do whatever they were doing, and then they would come back out to the field. And you know, here we are, soaking wet from head to toe, and our battalion commander. We were supposed to march back 25 miles from our bivouac, our bivouac back to the base.
Yeah.
And our battalion commander said, no, they're not walking back because they have no dry gear. We had no dry socks, no dry boots, no nothing.
Mhm.
And so he sends trucks out to meet us before we hump back. Our company commander says, no, we're humping back. Now, granted, he's got dry gear.
Yeah.
Company first sergeant, company gunny, All of them
Mhm.
had dry gear. We
Of
didn't.
course.
So we started humping back, and you slowly see people falling out and getting in the trucks because the trucks followed us. So they,
Yeah.
they were getting out, falling in, getting in the trucks and stuff. By the time we got back to the main gate, there was only 10 people walking in formation, and that was the company. James, what are you doing up there? Uh, but there was only a few.
Oh,
He's up laughing.
There was a few select people that were walking. Well, guess who was waiting at the front gate? The battalion commander was waiting at the front gate. That captain got relieved of duty right there on the spot. And
Oh, see, that's good. That's
yeah,
good. And
so
that's some of the stuff I wish I would have seen, in the first Cav. But
yeah,
that's part of the story is those kind of people were in charge at the time, and
hmm
they were not. They were promoted above peers and things like that. And everybody who was E6 and above, they got their Bronze Star with Valor, and the guys who were out there doing the real work. And one of the most vivid incidents I have is when my best friend Eric Seeger over there died, and he drowned in the Tigris River because their Bradley
mm,
flipped upside down.
mm,
And we were pulling security, waiting for the wreckers to come out, and our buddy Barton jumped in the Tigris River, threw off all his gear, jumped down in there, and was trying to open up the back, got the back of the Bradley open, and was coming back up and just trying to go in and rescue him, and he
right.
didn't make it. But at the end of the day, we finish up the deployment, and he gets an ARCOM and a pat on the back. And every NCO who was out there, they're getting Bronze Stars, Silver Stars, all this kind of stuff. And
hmm
you're like, holy crap, But the people who actually, put their stuff on the line and did that, it was like, yeah, here's your handshake, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I mean, the unsung heroes of any wartime situation, whether it be Vietnam, whether it be World War II, Korea, Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, the unsung heroes that would gladly sign their name on the dotted line again. I mean,
Hmm.
like me, I would gladly right now, if a war broke out and they said, "Hey, we need volunteers," my old busted ass would raise my hand and say, "Here, take me. I'm ready." I would go. And my wife might not like it, my kids might not like it, but my oath don't expire. My oath is to the day I die. So
yep, yep,
it's
yep.
just one of those. The unsung heroes is where it's at. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but anywho, I want to. Do you want to talk about anything else? Is there anything else you got coming up, like Comic Con coming up? I
I
know
got a
we talked
question.
about that.
Where did you say Stephen was from? Where's he live?
So right now I'm in Staten Island, but I've got gypsy blood. I've lived all over the place, been everywhere. I've lived in 5 different countries, and been all over the United States. So I, I kind of call wherever I'm sitting at the moment home. But I'm in Staten
Yeah.
Island.
Well, you ought to come see us and come visit the wall in July.
Oh heck yeah!
Yes, we got the Vietnam Traveling Wild Wall and the Cost of Freedom Tribute, July 25th through the 30th, in
Mm.
Shepherdsville, Kentucky. So it's going to be a very humbling experience because there's a lot of people in the in this area that weren't able to go see or have never been able to go see the wall in DC. So
Yeah,
it's going to be very humbling. And then, like James was saying earlier, I think off air before we got online that we did find the two families of the family of two family families, the two families of the service members from Bullock County that paid the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam. So we found one from Shepherdsville, one from Mount Washington, where I live at, and we're going to honor them at the wall. So that's going to be very, very humbling. So
absolutely. Yeah. But talking about
yes,
that reminds me that's actually when one of my comic conventions is going on. So we're doing 2 this year. Plastic City Comic Con, and that's near Boston towards the end of July, like you're talking there. And then we got sponsored this year to go to Veteran Comic Con out in San Francisco in November. And that's going to be our big event
The
going out
big one,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, part of the plug is, we also in our comic, we also offer ad space for businesses, uh, small businesses and veteran owned businesses. And those are great opportunities that you can support, a veteran artist, and also kind of like market yourself in these conventions.
So James, you might be able to market your mini wall in his comic book and
Yeah,
get
but we're
some
not going
bookings.
to talk about that right now. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah. It'd be all right. It'd be all right. But anyway, yeah, we can definitely look at that. And then, but yeah, man, I'm excited to see your book. I'm excited to help get you connected with other podcasters that you can come on and talk about your book. Because if I remember correctly, it's going to be released soon. Is it April that it gets released?
Yeah. So we wanted to do it the middle of March, but we had some, production things that we had to deal with. So now it's going to be released the first week of April, but it is on pre-order right now.
Nice. So yeah, you can get the book right now on pre-order. You can go to blueearbooks.com, search up
Mhm.
Troublemakers, the greatest dog and pony show in Iraq. Pre-order the book for $19.99 or $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping.
Absolutely. And then go to Global Comics, and that's where you can subscribe and read Tales of Nihilism, and we also have links in there where you can buy a physical copy of those if you want, and you know it, donate to the series and all that kind of stuff. Global Comics is a pretty good publishing site for independent comic creators.
Nice. And speaking of Ty Cobb's, Mr. Ty Cobb from earlier, he said, "Hope all is well. I'm on a boat. Take a long, hard look at the motherfucking boat." Ty, I hope you have a great time, brother. I already miss you, man. Like I said, we got to meet Ty and Scott and Matt while we were in Texas, and man, I tell you what, if you watch the Triple Threat Vet podcast and you see those four guys interact with each other, they are very humble and down to earth people on screen, just as well behind the screen. And man, I can't say enough for Ty Cobb and the guys at Triple Threat. Man, they're amazing, and might get you on their show. I might know some
Oh, heck
people
yeah.
that get you on their show, so we will make that happen too. And then you already reached out to Dexter Pitts. He's one of my good friends. I think I told you to reach out to him. He's the one that does the I Am Pitts podcast. Uh, but yeah, and Rich was on here earlier. Maybe Rich will reach out to you. I don't know if you've been on his show yet or not, but I can get you on his show as well. So we'll get you taken care of, man. We'll get you
Heck
some exposure to help you with your book and everything. I'm excited to get your book, to read it, to see what you guys went through being Army,
yeah. Mhm.
and I'm a Darhead, so just like James says, everybody does it differently. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
if we can help you out, we're going to, and that's what we're all about, man, is helping people out. So I want to take this time to say thank you for coming on, sharing your story and your journey into writing a book and stuff like that. That's amazing. I'm glad to see that you're helping yourself by helping others.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the big push on that. If I can provide a space to help fellow veterans and myself, that's right where I want to be, and use my creative talents, in that direction. And
And
I think you
that's
too as
the
well.
majority of us. The majority of the veterans. It doesn't matter what branch, and you don't have to be a combat vet, just
Hmm.
veteran. The majority of veterans that do this type of stuff, we also realize that. I'll take me for example. When I go out and I speak to groups, and like Dave said a while ago, we all do it differently. That's the name of my program. We all do it differently. I've got this weird story. And to break it down, in 16 months, I come home from combat. I buried a child and went through my first major divorce.
Mm.
Um, it's therapy for me to get out there in front of these folks and run my mouth.
Yeah.
And then it's therapy for somebody in that audience. I don't think it was Al that said it off of Triple Threats. I'm after one each show I go to. Just let me touch just at one.
Hmm.
And then he's like, how many did you get? Did you get 4? Did you get 10? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's powerful. But we all do it. We're not in this for fame and fortune and all that. God knows we'll never get that. We're not in it for that. We
Yeah.
want to help our brothers and sisters, and in return, we're
Yep.
helping ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's one of the greatest, kudos I got from my comic was speaking to another veteran and showing him that, and he looked at it and read the first issue, and he's like, man, I can't relate to any of the other comics that I read. I can't relate to Spawn or Spider-Man or Superman, but I look at your story and I can relate to that. I've been through this. I
Yep.
know what it's
Yep.
like to,
Yep.
have a bad day, lose your job, have like things go crazy and out of control. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, that's the kind of stories that I think people want to hear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
For sure.
spoke with a lady one time, and she said, "Well, my husband won't talk." Yeah, he will. No, I've been with him a long time. He won't talk. I said, "Ma'am, you're his everything. He'll take a bullet for you. You're the mother of his children. You are his everything. But
Yep.
why, in his mind, is he going to explain something to you that he knows you will not understand?"
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he talked to me, and she
Mhm.
Oh
stood
yeah.
there crying while he talked to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that happens quite a bit. Veterans, we'll talk to each other, but like James said, I'll take a bullet for my wife, but my wife in 20 years, she's slowly learning more and more about what I went through while I was in the military because
Hmm.
I don't talk to her about it, and it's just one of those things that um, it's better safe to keep it in and not tell somebody who won't truly understand what I went through. So
Yeah, I mean, we've all had the slip, even in professional life and business, the business society world and stuff like
yeah,
that, where you let something slip and you see those faces and you're like, oh crap, I just shit, I let a little bit of the monster out, kind of like Bilbo in the Lord of the Rings when he first meets Frodo, and he like, yeah,
yeah,
lets that out. And I did it too, where I had somebody, at one of my jobs, and they're sitting there talking about lazy millennials and y'all, you grew up with an iPad in your hand and all this. And I was like, hey man, I had already deployed to Iraq, killed somebody and been shot before the iPhone even came out. I don't know what you're
yeah,
talking about. And
yeah.
then it was like, wait, you killed, shit. Yeah, I forgot people, you know,
Yeah, people don't want to know that either. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, granted. So I told this story not too long ago. My wife's sister, when I first met her, she was probably 13, 14, somewhere around that age. And she found out what I did in the military, and she's like, have you ever killed anybody? And I didn't know how to answer that question because should I tell her, yeah, I've killed somebody, or should I just lie and say no, I haven't killed anybody? And it's
Mhm.
just like, so I
I,
just left it.
I did. I did, and for one reason, I had my daughter was dealing with problems being bullied at school, and had some girls being buttholes to her and all that kind of stuff, and she was afraid to go to school, and so I sat her down and I was like, you'll sit here and yell at dad, you'll get angry and upset with dad, and talk to me in this really assertive manner, and here's some of the stuff that I've been through, here's some of the things I did,
Right.
killing people and getting shot, and I was in a war. If you're brave enough to talk to me like that, don't you think you're brave enough to face your bullies and face life, you know
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Stephen, I want to say thank you for coming on and hanging out
yeah,
with us
thank
for
you,
this
man.
hour and 15 minutes. And like I said, you got my phone number, you got my email, you got my on Facebook. Reach out to me anytime. If I can help you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, let me know. You're going to reach out to Adam Bird next week
Hmm.
or this upcoming week here. Get connected with him because I'm sure he can help you. Um, However, you might need your help. I don't know if you've been on the website or not, but definitely get in contact with Adam and He'll take care of you. So yeah, definitely thank
Absolutely.
you for coming on and hanging out with us, my friend.
You too. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for having me. It's nice
Hey,
meeting both of you.
you're very welcome. You have a good one, buddy, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, y'all too.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye.
Dude, how cool was that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. He's a super
Daggone
cool.
cool. That's different. You know what I mean? From
Yeah,
what we usually see and talk to and talk about. That's different. And that's
yeah.
cool.
So here, look. So I'm gonna bring up this. This is the Tales of Nihilism. So the creator of his studio is Tales of Nihilism. So right now, if you go to the globalcomicx.com and then type in Tales of Nihilism, brings you here. And then if you go in here, so let's open this up. Let's see. Pretty self-explanatory. So he does all the little artwork and stuff like that. And so let's go through here. Advertising. So this is the advertisement. Let's see what else is in here. 120 miles west of Costa Rica. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You can come on here and see his little artwork and stuff that he's got, and it's pretty neat, man. And it's pretty down to earth, which I've always been a big fan of comic books. So I'm definitely going to check into reading more of these and seeing what it's all about. And then I can't wait to get his book and get his book and read it and see and share the story about it and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
super pumped. Super
Yep.
pumped that he was able to come on and tell us his story and stuff. So he just posted it in the chat. So that's where you can go to read that, and then his book here. So both of those links are in chat, so you can click on those. But I'm gonna pay the bills real quick because I forgot to do it on the last show. So if you're in the music business, check out talenttalents.com or Louisville Local Entertainment. Chris Hawks runs talenttalents.com, and then Rick Ames. And then he says, here, I'll go back here. First issue of the Ballad of Philip Kirshner is free, and the comic strips are always free. Cool beans, Stephen. Cool beans. So, yeah, if you're in the music business, check out talenttalents.com. Chris Hawks is the founder of Talent Talents, and everything he does is free. Like, he don't charge anybody for the stuff, the services that he provides. And then Louisville Local Entertainment, if you're in the Louisville area and you're wanting to book a show, you're a venue, and you're looking for somebody, reach out to Rick Ames. He's a Navy/Marine Corps veteran. He can definitely take care of you. He's got connections all over the music industry locally and, around the state of Kentucky, Indiana, and stuff like that. And then, as you can tell, I got your 6 apparel from sameflagsameoath.com. This is their Don't Tread on Me shirt, which is featured in the video that I will be playing here in just a minute. So check out Matt and Becky at Got Your 6, sameflagsameoath.com. They also do co-branded shirts, which my co-branded shirt will be live soon. I'm super excited about that. And what we're going to do with that, with the co-branded shirt, what they do is they take 25%, and at the end of the year, HomeFront Sitrep will be getting 25% of all sales. And what I'm going to do with that 25% is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to donate that to a veteran charity of my choice. Could be Warrior Rounds, could be Dogs Helping Heroes, could be Camp Hero Kentucky. That's going to be my choice, and I'm super excited about that. We're working on some other shirts ideals as well. We got one that's going to be for Dr. Teresa Larson. I'm excited about her shirt. Got them connected. They're going to be working on a shirt. It's going to be co-branded with Homefront Sitrep as well. And then I showed James a couple shirt ideals that I'm working on with a friend of mine. One is the original Roomba. I'm just going to leave it there, the original Roomba. And then the other one is the spicy pineapple. They're going to be pretty sweet, I think, once the artwork and everything gets done. Those are going to be co-branded shirts as well. So, yeah, we're looking to do a lot of great things in the near future. And then the last one, if you're in the home market, you're a veteran, check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions. They're an all veteran team, and they know the ins and outs of VA loans and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check those guys out. And here's the sponsor video.
Owner of Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of HomeFront Sitrep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talenttalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
My name's Rick Ames. I own Louisville Local Entertainment, a company for music shows, promotions, and bookings in the Louisville music scene. As a veteran, it's my honor to support and sponsor local veteran-owned businesses such as HomeFront Sitrep, made by veterans for veterans. So if you're in the music business and need some help booking or promoting a show for free, look me up, Louisville Local Entertainment. And thanks for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Hey guys, Mac Verdi here with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. As rates are dropping, home values are going to start to go up. It's time to start looking if you're looking to purchase a home. That being said, we are an all-military veteran loan officer team. We know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. We are considered the experts in this field. Give us a call today. Go to our website, veteranmortgagesolutions.com. Fill out my quick form. I'll give you $500 off towards closing costs. Have a great day.
And we're back. Yeah, like I said, if you're in the music business, check out talents.com or Louisville Local Entertainment. If you're in the market and you want a shirt, go check out sameflagsameoath.com. Matt and Becky, they are amazing. They will take care of you. And then Veteran Mortgage Solutions, like I said, if you're in the market to buy a home, check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions. They will definitely take care of you. So yeah, but other than that, man, my week's been great. Our events are coming together, James, with the Traveling Wall coming July 25th through the 30th in Shepherdsville. That's going to be an amazing time. It seems like I think they got all the vendors and stuff like that all lined out for Shepherdsville. We're getting them lined out for Bullitt County, or for my event November 9th at the concert, and we're waiting on the headliner. I'm like I said, I went and seen my buddy Bubba Wesley on Thursday in Houston, and I tell you what, he puts on a hell of a show, man. I don't know, something about it.
I said, I bet.
Yeah, his voice is friggin' phenomenal, man. I wish I could bring up this video. Let me see. I might bring up that. So I shared a reel earlier. Oops, wrong one. Let's see.
Whose idea was it to put the Jim Carrey in that one video? Did you make it video?
I'm not really for sure. No, that was Matt and Becky who did that.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty
Funny.
funny. Here, let's see. Oh, wrong one. It is pretty funny. Let's see. Where is? Let's see. Nope, wrong one. Let's go back here. I'm trying to see if I can get this video of. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Let me. I wonder if I can pause it. All right. Let's see. Share screen. Share screen.
Are you having a hard
Facebook.
time, Pumpkin?
No, I was just getting it all lined out. So, like I said, I was just in Texas, and I got to see Bubba Wesley. This is a video that
She likes Tom Petty and Smith, Guns and Roses now and then. When she hears free birds, she sings along.
this face was back. I mean,
She's 18.
little bit of a turnabout here in a minute. This is a pretty big venue. This game. I thought I'd get a turnabout in the crowd, but I might not. There we go. Look how this would be. But you know, the dance floor is up front. And then it goes all the way back there, and it's back wall to wall. Wall to wall. Yes, here we go. The music is just good. Let's do that. Let's pause that. Let's stop sharing. So yeah, I'm excited to have Bubba Wesley come into Kentucky and see what what we can do, man. He's going to raise some money for us, and we got a tip of the spear coming up. So our tip of spear veteran roundtable, HomeFront Sitrep, Triple Threat, Misfit Nation, the Decision Hour, I Am Pitts podcast, the oath we took, and conversations with a vet. So we got that coming up. So yeah, man, it's been a whirlwind, brother. It's been a whirlwind. I'm excited to see where we're going and what the future holds for this little group of like-minded individuals that are very like-minded to what to my liking, what I like, and we all stand for the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We're all about helping the veterans, and we don't care about the notoriety. All we care about is helping one veteran a day. And I say that all the time in my podcast. One veteran a day, that's all that matters. If I help one veteran a day, that veteran's going to turn around and help somebody tomorrow. And I'm not looking to give handouts. I'm looking to get a hand up. And
That's right.
So yeah, man, I'm excited. And I just can't wait to see what the future holds. And like I always tell people, I would hold up my phone, but right now it's doing something. But like I always say, my phone's always open. phone number is out there. You go to my Facebook page and my phone number is right there. If you need to call and talk and you just want to talk because you're having a bad day, call me. I will answer my phone, unless
That's
it's
right.
a spam. Unless it's a spam that I don't answer. But call me, text me. If I don't answer because I'm working, I can have my phone with me while I'm out and about on a job site. But send me a text message. Say, hey man, I need to talk to you. I will call you back ASAP. Usually within 5 minutes.
That's
So,
right.
or message me on Facebook. Send me a message. I'll answer on Facebook, or shoot me an email at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. I will get right back to you as quickly as possible. If you know of a veteran service organization from around the country, could be California, Washington, I don't care, Alaska. If they want to get their story out there, have them contact me at my email at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. I'm always looking for my next interview. I'm booked all the way. Let's put it this way, James. I am booked all the way into May. I'm
Nice.
almost have May completely booked. But I will tell you, my normal day job, my 9 to 5 that pays the bills right now, is getting ready to get busy. We're getting ready to get swamped. So I'm probably going to be on some forced overtime. And what that's going to do, no, Michael. I reached out to him, but I haven't heard anything back from him. So I might have to follow up on that.
Who's that?
The two that Michael sent me.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm trying to remember who they are off the top of my head. Let's see, Michael. Let's see. And that's yours information, Michael. So I can talk about that. But anyway, yeah, I haven't heard anything, but I will get back with them. Yeah, so Warriors in the Field and Operation Support Heroes is the two that he sent me. So I'll have to reach back out to him, Michael. And if you want to reach out to him first, maybe you know a contact there, you can reach out to him. I would gladly wouldn't turn him away from talking to him. So my dog is barking. I wonder why. But yeah, so definitely it's got me worried because my daughter's home alone and yeah, that's weird.
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go, But yeah, so no, I'm excited about what's coming up and with Steven and his book. I can't wait to get a signed copy of that and add it to the wall of books here and support, my brothers and sisters that are out there that are writing books or,
Absolutely.
doing the same thing that we're doing and taking care of veterans one at a time by telling our stories and stuff. So, but like I always say, man, when you're out and you're talking with veterans and you look at them in their eye and you ask them how they're doing and they say, I'm fine, you got to ask that next hard question. And that next hard question is, how are you really doing? Because a lot of times veterans won't tell you how they're doing. They're just going to,
That's right.
they're just going to say, I'm fine and move on. And don't do it in passing either, because sometimes that's fake. When you're walking by somebody and you say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that's fake. Yes, that's completely 100% fake. You actually have to really mean it. And that's why you got to ask that next hard question. How are you really doing? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you come up to me and you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you that I'm fine. And I'm going to leave it at that, even though I'm struggling inside, because I deal with my struggles every day. My demons are always there, ready to bust out. And you just got to ask that next question. How are you really doing?
That's right.
Because like James up here, I know he's stressed out with what you got going on in your personal life, which I'm not going to dive into, but I know you're struggling with what you're doing. That's why we talk. There you go, Mike. There you go. He said he's done that for a brother and he's going on a turkey hunt. No, I love it. I love it, Michael. Yes, you're right. Right here, this is 100% Patrick O'Malley. Vet support vets because we understand you are 100% correct on that. And thank you for coming on and hanging out and watching, Patrick O'Malley. Thank you. So yeah, we definitely, vets understand vets, and if we don't help each other, then we can't solve the problems that we face. And
Well, if we don't help each other, who's going to?
right, because civilians don't understand. No, I agree
No.
with you 100%.
You can't learn what we know from a book, 8 years of college. You can't learn that. You just can't. I tell folks all the time, especially when I'm out speaking, I say, listen, I'm not college educated. I don't have a degree in what I'm talking about. I do, however, have over 40 years of
real
life
experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
and
and
Patrick's watching from LinkedIn, so that's awesome. That's pretty awesome that he's watching from LinkedIn. But yeah, that's like me. I'm 45 years old. And I've been in the veteran realm since 2004. So almost 20 years in the veteran side of veteran, charities and doing stuff like that, and being an advocate for veterans. I've been to Kentucky, the state capitol, and lobbied for some veteran stuff up there. I've done it in DC. When I was up in DC, I've done some lobbying up there for veterans in DC, and I'm a very huge supporter of veterans. Being a veteran myself, Marine Corps veteran, I'm always looking at ways to help the lifestyle of veterans, because there's a lot of veterans that are living on the street. Some choose to be there and some choose not to be there, but that's unfortunate. Their circumstances unfortunate and made them be on the street. So we need to end, the 22 a day. I'm up with that in quotation 22 because it's more than 22. We need to end veteran homelessness. We need to end everything that we can end when it comes to the veteran side of the house, because we learned it when we were in the military. Nobody left behind. And that's what we need to do. Nobody left behind.
absolutely.
But like I said, you always have to ask that next hard question, because if you don't, then something bad could happen. But if you do, you might stop that veteran from committing suicide that night. So always ask that next hard question. You have to ask the next hard question, because if you don't, yeah, you were right, Stephen. Biggest way to end it would be to certify veterans for the MOS they did in the military. They are only a handful that actually do. No, I agree with you. I agree. But anywho, it's time to end the show. James, thank you for coming on, hanging out with me and Stephen. I want to, like I said, we got to talk tomorrow anyway about upcoming events. So I'm sure I'll talk to you a few times between now and then, probably.
Yes, sir.
So, but anywho, you take care of the puppy back here, because I see Charlie being a good boy, and I don't know where he went to lay down at now, but I see he was walking around a little bit ago.
Yeah, he's over there on the floor. He's mad at
You
Dad.
take care of the puppy and take care of the missus as well, because I know she's not been feeling well. So
No, she hasn't.
Michael, peace out, my friend, and we'll talk soon.
Michael, take care, brother.
Hopefully Michael and Susan gets to come in for the wall. That would be pretty awesome to have them come in
That's
for the
what
wall.
we're hoping for.
That'd be awesome. I'd like to meet Michael and Susan in person. So
I'd like
I'm
to see him
excited.
again.
Yeah, I would love to see them. So anyhow, like I say always when I end my show, stay safe out there, and I got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.